Hi there, I'm Stacy, the encaustic mixed media artist behind Studio Stacy. Encaustic literally means to burn in. So I paint with beeswax and a torch, and because it's mixed media, pretty much anything else I can get my hands on. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Consider subscribing and joining this artsy community. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, which helps me get introduced to more like-minded artsy folks like yourself. Hi all, in the studio today, as you can see, and the other day when I was doing a few other things around here, I picked out a few color combinations just using these little mini paint stick things that I made, color swatches that I made, using some molding and things like that. But anyways, I picked them out using my color swatches, and I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you, but I am looking to see what each paint is made with, or what makes each paint, what pigments make up each paint, I should say. And I just thought I would share this with you because I'm not sure that you know this or didn't know this, or do know this. I didn't know this until Catherine Bevier, another encaustic artist, told me about it. She does wonders with color, and I know I've mentioned her probably a gazillion times in the past, but highly recommend, if you get a chance taking a class from her, to take one of her classes. I'll link her down below. But a really good, great teacher and knows a ton about color. So if you're interested in color, highly recommend. So anyways, I'll flip the camera around and share with you what she shared with me. All right, this color swatch is a color called Hedera. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it is made by Encausticos. And Encausticos actually puts the camera will focus here. Focus. There we go. The pigments that this color is made out of on it. So this is made with PY110 and PB15.1. So if I want to get a color to kind of go with this particular paint, I can look up those two pigments, see if I have them. If I don't, see if Encausticos makes those two pigments, or if I can buy a encaustic paint in those two pigments to pair with this. Now, you may or may not want to pair those two colors with this, but it just gives you an idea of what this color is made out of and what perhaps might go with this color. So having said that, what I am doing today is I'm just going to take a couple pictures of what each of these color sticks are made of. So for example, let me flip the camera around again. This particular color set is Blue Rain, Cadmium Red Light, and Citron Green. So I can look up to see Cadmium Red Light, I think is just, it might just be made of this particular pigment, but I have to double check that. I can look up to see what each of these pigments contain and see if perhaps there's not a common pigment between these three. There may or may not be. And then I might also want to take that common pigment and combine it in here, or I might want to add one of these pigments that one of these is made with into this color palette for the particular painting. So I'm hoping all of this makes sense. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take pictures of these labels today, look up what pigments are in each one of these, put it into my computer, into Trello, see if I have any of these pigments already in my paint stack, and then see if I also want to purchase any of these pigments or any extra paint. So hopefully all of this makes sense. But I'm going to use Trello to keep track of it all, and that way I can easily go back and reference it. I know you've heard me talk about Trello before if you've been here for a while, but it's a great program. It's free, works on your computer and your phone, so it's easily portable, if you will. The app, you can just pull it up on your phone. If I'm at the art store and want to go, oh wait, what did I want to buy? I can look that up right there on the Trello program on my phone. So anyway, so let me get to doing this today. Kind of a easy peasy, no painting day here in the studio, but I just thought you guys might find this interesting as far as the pigments go and wanted to share it. One last thing, this is an RNF paint, actually not one of the colors I've picked out here, but I wanted to share with you, they also list their pigments on their labels, so make sure you keep your labels. Then you'll know, if you're interested in any of this, like I am, you'll know what each paint is made out of. All right, I think it's going to start pouring down rain any minute in time now. So I'm gonna make a mad dash back to the barn dominium, get these colors put into Trello using the computer, and then I'll probably pick you guys back up maybe tomorrow, maybe in a day or two, back in the studio, probably experimenting with these colors some more. Good morning all in the studio, and the paint came in that I ordered last week, so I thought I would show you what I ordered, and I'm going to try to get some paint down on one of those smaller, I think they're 8x8 panels today, so that's the plan. And I thought it would be fun to open up this box of paint while the wax heats up on the griddle, just to get it nice and hot before I start applying it to the panel. So perfect time to open some art supplies. All right, here you go. All of the paint. Lots and lots of paint. Probably the biggest order of paint that I've gotten in a long time. And I have a mix of RNF paints. These blocks up here are RNF. And then these, they call them wax snaps here. All of these are encausticose. And then this little tin is also encausticose and happened to be on sale. So I thought, well, why not purchase it? Because it was a deep discounted sale. So there you go, RNF and encausticose paint. And I should tell you, all of these paints came from fineartstore.com. They're out of Rochester, New York. So especially if you're on the East Coast, highly recommend ordering encaustic paint and supplies from them. They're I know I've talked about them before in the past, but they're, I think, still a family-run art store. And yeah, they're great to deal with. And speedy, fast shipping. I think I ordered these on, I want to say Thursday, maybe Wednesday, and they came in on Saturday. So a very quick packaging and shipping from them. So yeah, highly recommend fineartstore.com. If I think about it, I'll link them down there below in the description. Go check them out. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, and if you've been here for a while, you probably did notice, but these are not colors that I normally work with. So I'm going a little outside of my traditional box, or at least the box that I have been working in for the past few series, and I'm breaking out into some brighter colors with this series. So we'll see where it takes us, but I used to paint really pretty colorful paintings. Maybe if I think about it, I'll insert a few in here. And then I kind of strayed away from that and went into a lot more blues and greens, maybe some muted purple colors, browns, a lot more naturey kind of colors, which I loved painting in. But for now, I don't know, I'm just feeling going bright and bold with these series. And yeah, we'll see where it takes us. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they come out nicely, because I got a lot of bright colors here to paint with, like this color here. So we're gonna find out. All right, so this wax is pretty much heated up and I'm ready to go. And my plan for the day is to prep 3 new square, they're actually 10 by 10. I think in a couple videos back I said they were 8 by 8, but they're actually 10 by 10 panels. So my plan for today is just to prep those with some encaustic medium and some white encaustic paint, get them ready for these bright, bold colors. And I thought, because you've seen me prep a million panels by now, that I would briefly talk about kind of going outside of your comfort zone, straying away from what you might normally paint. I thought it might be an interesting conversation. And I personally am going to talk about a very probably unpopular opinion. And that is, a lot of people think that you should, as an artist, you should really niche down. You should find your style, you should stick with your style, and that's what you should do. I kind of don't want to do that, and I think completely the opposite way. Matter of fact, if you go look at my website and the paintings on there, I have everything from abstract to realistic. At one point in time, I think I even did some portrait painting. I don't think any of those are on the website, but you know, it's a little bit all over the board and I don't care. I guess I should say more specifically, I don't care what other people think I should be doing. I personally feel very strongly in following your creative muse, following your heart, doing what you want to do, doing what your heart desires, doing what your creative muse, you know, follow that path, go down that path, and when you get tired of that path, if you want to turn and take another path, take another path. Now, that may be confusing to your quote-unquote followers or your collectors, and I get that, right? I understand that niching down might be less confusing. People may know exactly what you do or may exactly recognize that style. They'll know it's, you know, Cindy Lou's art. Whereas, you know, if you look at my website and you look at some of my paintings, they're a little bit all over the board and you may not recognize that it is Studio Stacy's style. And again, I'm okay with that. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk about that briefly, that I know it's a very unpopular opinion and everybody out there is going to say in order to sell art, you need to niche down, you need to find your style, and you need to stick with that style. I don't particularly believe that statement. And I know for me, if I stuck with the same exact style, I would get a little bit bored. I kind of like to stretch. I like to go in places I haven't been to before. I like to stretch this creative muscle, think outside of the box or outside of the box of what I normally paint, if you will. So that's just my personal preference, which kind of leads me into these bold, bright colors. I think I mentioned a couple of videos back, I might even be doing some more abstract painting. I'm excited to do this, and it may be a complete flop. But again, it's okay. It's where I want to go right now, so that's where I'm gonna go. And having said all that, go where you want to go, do what you want to do. If you are really comfortable with niching down and you have found your style and you are great kind of just repeating that style, I don't think there is anything wrong with that either. I think the whole point of this conversation is to do what you want to do, to follow your own creative muse, to follow your own heart and your own path. I would also like to know if you feel like having the conversation down there below in the comments. Drop me a comment, let me know if you're really one of those niche down persons, or if you're a bit all over the board with your art. And if you have specifically niched down, have you gotten tired of it or bored of it? How do you keep it interesting for you? So I would love to know this information just for my own personal gain, I guess, if you will. So yeah, let me know down there below in the comments if you feel like it. I would love to hear from you. All right, I got these panels pretty much prepped and ready for some encaustic paint color. So probably gonna leave you here for today, and I'm hoping to pick you back up tomorrow. But at any rate, I will pick you back up the next time I'm in the studio, ready to put the paint colors down on these panels. We'll see you then. Good afternoon in the studio, and I'm gonna get some encaustic paint put down on these panels that I prepped several days ago. And kind of in the meantime, since I've been out of the studio, I've been thinking about this idea of niching down and kind of being a multi-passionate type of person. And I thought we could just continue this conversation while I'm putting the paint down on these panels, because again, you've seen me do this many a time. So kind of what I've been thinking about is, if you're anything like me, you probably have 315 creative ideas constantly rolling around in your head. And so you decide, all right, I'm going to pick some of these. So you say, all right, I'm going to do 12 of these creative ideas, and then realize you realistically only have time for maybe 3 or 4 of these creative ideas. And then perhaps as you're working through these 3 or 4 ideas, perhaps maybe 2 of them don't work out, they're a complete flop. And I guess that's okay. And that's the joy of being a multi-passionate kind of a creative person. So the point there is to follow your passion, follow your heart, knowing that most likely not all of your 315 creative ideas are going to work out. You're going to have some failures, and that's okay, because guess what? You have 314 other creative ideas to go back to. So I think really in this whole journey of following your heart, it's not about painting that perfect painting or creating that absolute masterpiece. It's more about following your heart, learning throughout the process, and being okay with failing. It's about taking that creative leap, going on that artistic adventure, and discovering who you are as an artist. What do you like to do? What brings you joy? You know, who are you? And because we're all different, we all have different creative paths to take, and just going down all of these different paths and different avenues doesn't make you scatterbrained, or you don't have to just follow one path and stick to it, because there's a whole learning process. If you go down a path and it doesn't work out, you take that leap and you say, oh boy, that's really, really not good. That's okay, because one, you learned maybe that wasn't what your path should be, and maybe you learned something about yourself along the way. And of course, the beauty of that is you have a million other ideas and a million other paths to fall back onto, to just sidestep over and go down that path. And I had mentioned earlier about kind of narrowing down those 315 ideas, maybe picking 3 to 5. And I thought maybe I might tell you kind of how I do that. And if you have any ideas or have any tips and tricks on how you narrow your ideas down, definitely let us know down there below in the comments. But here's how I do it. I like to keep a running list in Trello. And that's how I kind of just keep track of all of my ideas, because sometimes I'll have what I think is a great idea, and then a few hours later I'll have forgotten about that great idea. So when I get these creative ideas, I jot them down and I keep track of them in Trello. And then from time to time, if I get bored with one project or decide one project isn't working out, or I want to start a new painting series, I go into Trello, I go through that entire list, and then I pick a few things that really speak to me, that really jump out at me at that time. And I kind of narrow them down also based on perhaps what supplies I have on hand now, so I'm not buying new things. And yeah, just kind of jot down maybe a few more ideas or how I'm feeling about those particular concepts. And that's how I narrow them down. But how I also keep track of all of these ideas. And then I always have, again, something to fall back onto. This also allows me to not just cross these ideas off. I just keep them on the list. Unless, of course, I figured out that I really don't want to do that, then perhaps I may, just put it off to the side or cross it off completely. But this way I know I'm not eliminating that. I'm just choosing something else at this particular time that's really speaking to me, that's really lighting my creative fire. So yeah, and then I don't feel bad about not doing something else, because I know I can always go back to it. And again, I just wanted to reiterate here that the whole point of this is to do what works for you. Do what you feel in your heart of hearts is right for you. If you want to niche down, by all means, niche down to the finest of ideas. I think that's perfect if that's what works for you. But I want to encourage all of you, if that doesn't work for you, don't feel like you have to do that. Just because somebody's telling you to niche down, or just because I'm telling you perhaps to not niche down. Do what's right for you. That's what this whole conversation's about. And really, you're the only one that can determine what you should pursue, what dreams you should pursue, what creative adventures you want to go on. You're the only one that can determine that, and not anybody else. All right, all, I think this is where I'm going to call it for this one. I believe I have said everything I have to say about not niching down, if you will, and pretty much just about following your own heart. So if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. I also am really interested to hear what you have to say about this topic of conversation. I would really love to hear from you. So please let me know down there below in the comments. If you don't feel like making a public comment, you can always drop me an email, because I truly am interested in what you have to say, whether you want to say it publicly in the comments or not. Yeah, just reach out. At any rate, thank you so very, very, very much for coming along. Give the video a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. More videos coming your way. More artsy conversations coming your way. Thanks again. Bye for now.